Alrighty. I know I've not been on here in a while, so do me a favor. Share the broadcast. This will not be long. I just want to share just a few minutes with you. So do me a favor, share the broadcast, invite a friend. Yeah, I know it's been a long time, y'all, since I've been on here saying anything, doing anything. So y'all forgive me. Just do me a favor before I get started. Invite someone, share it with someone. Let someone know. It's going to be a quick conversation with Chris. This is not going to be a very long one. This will be a quick conversation with Chris. I promise this will not be an all-day one. Many of you are in the middle of working and getting the rest of your life done. And so I want to be brief, quick. So if you would just do me a favor, invite someone, tag a friend, invite a friend, let them know that we're finna have a quick chat, a quick conversation with Chris. I promise you it's going to be good. It's going to be great. It's going to be real and relevant, life-changing. But I want to make sure that I give you something to hold on to and just kind of to pique your interest for this end of year, okay? So we're going to start in just maybe one more minute if you don't mind. But make sure you share the broadcast. Let someone know that we're on Conversation with Chris. Like I said, I apologize. You all, it's been a very long time since we chatted together. We'll do more of this in the very near future. But, you know, hey, you got to do what you got to do when you have to do it. All right, so check this out. I've been really in a good, quiet place, but I thought about it, and I wanted to share something with you all. We've come to the end. We're coming down to the end of a year, the year 2021. Share it with someone. Please share. We're coming down to the end of the year 2021, and there are a couple of things that are critical to help close out a year, especially when you have a year that's been turbulent. There's been a lot of uncertainty. There's things have been up and down. A lot of instability in the atmosphere. The stock market's been up and down, and I think overall the year 2021 and what we've been living through have been times of really that would appear to be uncertain. These times could shake your faith if you're not careful. And so, we've had to really be careful. But I want to talk to you just for a few minutes that it's really been impressed upon me for me to do. But I want you to do the same thing. Here's the word: check your investments. Just stick with me for about 6 minutes, okay? At the end of the year, I want you to check your investments. Somebody write, check your investments. I want you to check your investments. Every year, for wealthy people, they make assessments of what they've been investing, where they've been investing, and they start making an assessment of what's been their return on investment. Key financial terms. What's been the return of their investment? So if they've been investing $1 all year, and now they've invested $12, and their bank and their account says $10, that's not been a good investment. If they've been investing $1 a month all year, and the account now says $12.02, not a good investment. But here's what I really want to help you understand. We've got to check our investments, not just financially, but I want you to begin to check your investments in relationships. You really got to come in and start checking your investments, because your time is an investment. Your money is an investment. Your money is a representation of your time. And so don't just check where you put your money at. Start checking where you've been putting your time at. Can I be honest? If you've been investing in people, you've been investing in relationships, you've been investing in covenants and partnerships, and now you're at the end of the year, the last month of the year, the last few days of the year, and all of a sudden now there's nothing to show for it. You've been investing, come on, I know the devil didn't like this. You've been investing 11 months and half of it, all this time you've been investing, and now at the end of it, it's time to reconcile the account, and you start saying, I put this in. When it hurt, I squeezed and gave. When I was lonely, I squeezed and gave. When I was tired, I squeezed and gave. When I needed something else, I disciplined myself and I put something into it. And here you are now at the end of the year, getting ready to go into the year 2022. And my question is Is it still, is that portfolio, is that person that placed that thing, are they still worthy of the investment that you made all of this year? Especially if you made the investment year after year. One thing that this pandemic has done is level the playing field. It's what used to be a guaranteed thing. It's not anymore. And so what we used to do doesn't bring the same results. And so I want to really caution you, don't go into 2022 with the mindset of I'll just keep doing the same thing the same way, even with the same people. Listen, you've been in my life for a long time. You've been in my corner for a long time. And I've been pouring into you, sowing into you, giving into you, answering the phone every time you call. That's an investment. Come on, I know we don't like to think of it, but I'm sowing my time. I'm sowing my effort, my energy, my words. And I look back at the end of this year and I don't see any fruit. I don't see that anything has changed. There's nothing coming back. I'm not talking about being selfish. I'm talking about a return on investment. The return may not come directly to me, but I expect to see a return on my investment. I'm not just losing sleep. I'm not just giving over words. I'm not just denying myself so that you can be better. No, I expect a return on my investment. I don't just put money into the stock market with the expectation to lose it. If I find out I'm losing it, I don't just keep putting money into that thing forever. So come on, I understand we're loyal, we're people of faith. I get all that. But listen, a dog is a dog. You can feed it cat food for the next 20 years, but that feeding it cat food will not make it a cat. Did you hear me? You can get a squirrel, put that thing on a leash. I don't care how much you invest in it. You can buy dog food. You can buy a collar. You can do all kind of stuff. But just because you try to make it be something and you're putting something in it doesn't mean it's going to change. And so we've got to accept that sometimes our investment is capped out. A term we use, what level of risk are you willing to use in this investment? Come on, I'm almost finished. When I first started, I was willing to take great risk in this investment. I was willing to be risky. I was willing to turn a blind eye. I was willing to overlook a lot of things because my level of risk was very high. But come on, 2022 has caused me to lose things, lose time, lose relationships, lose thoughts, lose a lot of stuff. And so now I'm recalculating my risk. My acceptable level of risk is not what it was at the end of this year and it was at the beginning of this year. And so since my acceptable level of risk has changed, so must my investment. My investment must change too. I cannot, come on y'all, I know we don't like to talk about this. Yes, I'm faith-filled. Yes, I'm a believer. You can decree, declare, pray, fast, but at the end of the day, some things are not going to produce. I'm reminded in the Bible, Jesus, the parable of the talents, he gave 5 to one, 2 to another, and 1 to another. And the moral of the story was, no matter what he gave them, he expected a return on his investment. He didn't just give it to them for them to be happy, for them to be wealthy. He didn't give it to them so they can brag or show off. He really expected a return on investment. So when Jesus gave them something, even though it looked like he was just blindly giving, the principle was Jesus was investing. He gave them talents and he expected something back on it. Every relationship I'm in, I'm looking for a return. No more leeches, no more blind feeding, no more blind eyes. At some point, you make an assessment. I'm feeding it. I'm putting into it. There's nothing going to come out of it. And what did Jesus do? He said that master took his investment. I'm not going to invest in this any longer. And I'm trying to tell you, really make a healthy assessment of your investments as you close this year out. Sit down and look at where you've been spending your time. Sit down and figure out who you've been spending your time with. What have you been putting your money into? And if you start seeing the pattern, no return, no return, no return. I answer the phone every time they call. Every time they message me, I answer it. Every time they cry, I wipe their tear. And I've been doing this all year. and I don't see any return, I don't see possibility of return, let me tell you, it's possible that you're not looking through faith, but you're looking through fantasy. I'm trying to help you. Sometimes we go into fantasy land and not faith. We're in fantasy. That's not faith. Fantasy is saying because everything has a yield to it, so it can only produce so much. A orange tree, once it blooms, there only has the potential to produce so many oranges a year. That's all it can do. Listen, to go there every day and expect more, that orange tree has hit its capacity. It's hit its limit. And I'm trying to declare the word to you today. Some people, some places, some things in your life, they have reached their capacity. They're at their limit of what they can produce. They've tapped out. And if you keep investing, if you keep pouring into it, without the reality that there's not going to be a return, you're going to start another disappointing year, another disappointing season, because you're looking for something that's not going to happen. Come on, study the market again. Study where God has you. Study the new things and the new people he's putting in front of you. It's very possible that he's asking you to make a different kind of investment because you need a different kind of return this year. I'm simply telling you that every company, every owner of a portfolio, they, at the end of the year, they do a good reconciliation and they start asking themselves, the level of investment that I did this year, am I satisfied with it? And has it brought me the return that I expected? If it hasn't brought the return, is there a potential to do it? If the potential is not there, then I must be the one to change my level of investing. And I know, I hear you thinking, but they'll be upset, they'll be hurt. But listen, I'm the one being hurt. And at some point in time, you've got to realize, even what God gives you may be capped out. Your days are numbered. You don't have an infinite number of days. And so if you, come on, y'all, you don't have unlimited days of your life. You have a limited number of days. You were born and he set your lifespan. And so if you keep putting out your life and nothing comes back, you're not getting those days back. No return those investments. No chance to ever recoup that. I mean, there's no chance to recoup that. And so I want you to become a wise steward in the kingdom. Hear me, become a wise steward in the kingdom. Check your investments financially, spiritually, and naturally. If you don't see any return, I'm telling you, that parable, it has to make sense to you. God expected a return on his deposit. I'm not telling you to break up with people. I'm not telling you to separate from people. That's between you and God. I am telling you, you must measure what you put out and then adjust your expectations and actually adjust your level of investment. If it cannot produce, are you okay? You hear me? Are you okay with pouring with a guaranteed no return on investment? Are you okay with that? Are you okay putting out, knowing nothing's going to come back? If it's your assignment, to God be the glory. But every relationship is not an assignment. It's a choice. Did I just say that? Yeah. Some things are choices. Let's not blame God. We made a choice. And if you choose to get in it, did you hear me? If you choose to get in it, and you find out that it cannot produce, it cannot bring a return investment, if you find, hey, stop all this stuff. We're not talking about no covenants. Y'all break all that foolishness off. I'm talking about your choices. If you find out that it cannot reproduce, do not keep watering the tree that cannot reproduce. You need fruit. Fruit refreshes you. Fruit replenishes you. Fruit, come on, fruit sustains you. And I'm telling you, as we wind up 2021, it's time for you to check your investment. If there's not going to be a return, listen, I love everybody. I love you with the love of God. The love of God tells me that I don't want you to pour into me and I can give you nothing. I don't want to waste your time like that. So if people have to cut me off, to God be the glory. I may not be worth investment. It may have been good for last year. It may have been good for the year before. It may have been good for 5 years ago. But come on. Every time we even burn the land, if you know anything about farming, we burn the land to make it more fruitful. We don't put anything in it during certain seasons. Y'all better catch the revelation. There's some times where they burn the land. We have to turn the soil over, and we put no expectation. We don't sow in it. We just say, you know what? We need to give this land a chance to rest. Let's let it rest. Let's don't do anything together this season. We need to give this a break because we've been just pushing, and we may have stripped this land of all its potential. So we have to let it rest. And I'm telling you, you better hear God. There's some things you got to let rest. Let it go for a little while. Let it go. Let some people go for a little while. If there's a really God connection, they will come back. The connection will still be there. But if you find out that when you try to let go of people, especially people and places, y'all, oh my God, if you try to let go of people and places that were not producing anything for you, but you investing into, if you find out that they start turning, getting funky and funny and getting attitudes and start tripping, their motives will be revealed when you stop investing. But if it's God, they'll say, I understand, my friend, my sister, my brother. I get it. God's been telling me the same thing. But if their response is not godly, then you automatically know you have been robbed. They're only there with you for what you've been doing. And therefore, you should stop investing in it. We're getting ready to go into 2022. I'm coming today to help you make proper preparations so you can have a perfectly excellent year in 2022. But I want to warn you, if you do absolutely nothing different, closing this year out, if you don't sit down, take the time and make good assessment, listen, stop faithing everything. Make some assessments. Listen, you don't go to the doctor for him to make faith. You go to the doctor for him to make an assessment. So stop all this. I'm just going to see it in faith. No, make an investment. Sit down and count up. Man, 4 days a week, I've been investing in this person, and they're still crying the same song to me. And they still ask me for $10. They start the month, the year off, ask for $10, and every 5 weeks, ask for $10. At some point, make an investment and an assessment and say, you know what? By now, they could have bought themselves a suit, a tie, or a dress and got a job. They could have done that with these investments I've been giving them. You know what I'm saying? And so I need you to really make a good assessment and really close this year out strong. It's not too late to change your investments this year. As a matter of fact, if you're a good tax strategist, you learn sometimes you need to switch investments so that you can get credit for this year. I'm not giving you tax information. I'm just telling you, it's not too late. The year has days left in it still. And I'm telling you, make an assessment. Your life matters. Your calling matters. Your purpose matters. Your time matters. Your energy matters. Your vision matters. As a matter of fact, let me close by saying this. Many of us have been investing, oh my God. Many of us have been investing everything into what God has given other people to do and not invested in what God has given us to do. Check your investments. I know that hurt. But God has not called you to totally neglect what he's given you at the expense of putting everything into what he gave someone else. That's not a wise investment. You've got to stop this and get yourself in position and invest in what God has given you this year. Did you hear me? Invest in what God has given you. Assess your connections. Yes, I'm going to sow. Yes, I'm going to partner up. But in my partnership should not cause me to be absent in my own thing. It should not cause me to be negligent in what God has given me. If I partner with you and I only invest in you and invest nothing in me, this is not a good partnership. We must reciprocate. You give and I give. The amounts may be different. Oh God. The amounts may be different because the greater one, to whom much is given, much is required. The greater one may have to give more. But if I give my all to you in a partnership and you barely give me anything back, you just require more time, more energy, more effort. You just say more. I need more. You're not. And when they start saying you're not doing enough, hey, I'm working harder than you. Why am I making the biggest investment and I'm getting nothing back out of it? I simply want to jump on today and tell you, check your investments before this year ends. Do you hear me? I'm telling you what I heard him say. Check your investments. I didn't say disconnect. I did not say walk away from them. But you can change the level that you invest in them. You can change it. I didn't say disconnect. I didn't say end no covenants. I didn't say walk away. Don't go quoting me saying that. People like doing that. Because if it's in their heart to walk away, they'll say, this confirms it. My comment is check your investment. I may be with you, but you may not get all the stuff you used to get from me because I'm investing wiser now. Ask God to give you wisdom. Ask God to give you wisdom. You hear me? Ask him to give you wisdom. Wisdom on how to number your days, count up your days. God, show me how to count my days and make them fruitful. You said that you wanted me to have fruit and that my fruit would remain. That means I need to make some good investments. You won't have to rebuke the cankerworm, the palmer worm. You won't have to rebuke any of them if you make the right investments, okay? Listen, I love you all. I'm going to jump on a lot more at the end of the year. I'm giving some end of year strategies, end of year tips, just things I've been hearing from God about going into 2022. This has been an unusually tiring and frustrating and fatiguing year, but it's been a season. But I'm telling you, 2022 is a year going to be marked by great revival. But you got to prepare yourself. You got to prepare yourself. Listen, here's my last story. Don't give away all your oil. You need oil for your own lamp. Did you hear me? Don't give away all your oil. You need oil for your lamp. You're going to get a visit, and it's going to be at an unexpected time. Well, if you don't have enough oil, enough of what he's giving you to sustain you, that the parable said there were 5 wise and 5 foolish. It tells me that if we waste our investments, that's considered foolish. If God come visit your business, your brand, your company, your dreams, your ideas, your ministry, whatever you build, if God comes and visit it in 2022, will you have enough left to be good, or will you have been one of the foolish who gave it all away and then you miss your season? I want to tell you, baby, take the rest of this year, reposition yourself, check your strategy, and line up your investments correctly. If you do, 2022 is going to be an amazing year for you. It just takes the right preparation. Hey, I am Christian T. Howell. Some call me Apostle Chris, some may call me Coach Chris, but I am Christian T. Howell. This is just a quick conversation with Chris. Listen, you can find our podcast. Just look for a conversation with Chris. We're on the Charisma Podcast Network. You can find us on Amazon, Spotify, but pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. It's Conversation with Chris. Download it. There are many other topics. Share them. But I will be on frequently through the rest of this year. And we're going to talk about strategies to wind this year up and get ready for next year. Do me a favor. After this is over, go back and rewatch it. Share it. Tell other people to watch it. We're just trying to be of help. I love you all amazingly. I love you all tremendously. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for sharing with me for a few moments. Hey, if you got questions, comments, concerns, or answers, or there are things that you said, I need help trying to reposition or figure out a better strategy to help close this year out and then go into next year, message me. We can do a conversation publicly and keep it private who it came from, all right? Hey, I'm just here to help you. Until we meet again, God bless you. You are an overcomer. Whatsoever is born of God overcomes. My friend, you're born of God. You overcome and you have the victory. See you next time.